So hello and welcome to another session. This is season 7 right now, and my name is Amit. I'm going to be the host and also the co-learner along with people who are here. So I'll have a kind of a quick and a short introduction of each one of them. So I am supported by Mr. Prakash, who is also my AG leader and my fitness guide. And I have my friend Om here, and Christian, and Ivan. So, hi guys. Anyone you can talk? Not a problem. You can unmute yourself.
Hey Amit, how's it going?
Hey, all good, Om. So I don't know, Christian, are you able to hear us? I don't know, Christian looks stuck a little bit. Anyways, so today's session is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit of interactive. So probably I might need one volunteer. So Om, would you be my volunteer for this next 45 minutes?
Sure.
Awesome, right. So let me just minimize this video thing. So as you know, this is all started, almost quite some time back when it was a kind of a role play with somebody, and I tried to help him, and he said, "Why don't you teach me online?" And this is all started where the co-learning thing, took a place. And today, after 7 sessions, this is this is something which has been seen and heard by more than around 93 people so far. And apart from that, as I'm talking to you, so these are kind of snippets that has came across where it's kind of a co-learning session where we try to interact, we try to figure out, and my job is more into moderating the entire session and taking a kind of path around. So today I have a kind of an interesting thing that probably everyone would like to know about this, and this is about how you design your business process and how you can be heard loud. So with that, let us go ahead into the session. Oops, sorry. So these are the 3 things, before I go into telling you this. So can you let me understand with these 3 words: destruction, installation, and integration? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In our own personal lives or any organization to be existing, how does these 3 particular words play a role? Any idea?
Well, if I was to see it in this order, I'd say that you have to break things down first and then start to build things and then sort of integrate it into your, how things work in your life, maybe.
Awesome. I think this is pretty much the same stuff. So this is something where I found out this is the keynote of almost all the entrepreneurs, businessmen, influencers, or whoever has been into this journey of being successful. I think these are the 3 very integral part these people have undertaken. So one is distraction. When we say distraction, it is like completely emptying your cup, or rather, let's say breaking your cup, and getting a new application downloaded or installed. It's a new technique, new skills, new experiences. This is what I meant by the word installation. And definitely once you integrate all these things towards the journey, that becomes the process of I'd say growth. So with that, a little bit of a gyan. Let me just go ahead in today's class. So you might ask me, okay, how about a break, a drinks break? Okay. So if I ask you, what is the kind of first brand that comes to your brain when you hear these 2 different words, cold drinks?
Coca-Cola.
Okay. And who's the next one? What's the line name with Coca-Cola?
Sorry?
What's the next brand immediately which comes after Coca-Cola?
Pepsi.
Awesome. So let's do something with Pepsi today. Okay. So next amazing question for you. What does Pepsi contain? Any idea?
Sugar water.
Okay. Guys, any other thought? Anybody else here wants to share some thought on this?
What does Pepsi contain?
Your voice is breaking up, Om. Okay.
Caffeine, right?
Caffeine, okay. Anything else?
Sugar.
Okay. So, hey, we have Prosper also joined up. Hi, Prosper.
Hi, how are you guys?
I'm fine. I think.
Sorry, just
It
arrived.
contains sugar,
Okay, sugar, great. So we
it
heard
has
about
flavors,
flavors. Okay, great. What else?
um, soda.
Soda. I don't know. Okay, so maybe. So the idea is not to figure out what does it contain, but the thing is, I'm sure you know all the ingredients which is there. Like, so let me just recap whatever you guys have told me. Sugar, water, caffeine, flavors. What else? Oh, just help me out. Colors. I don't know.
Mm,
Colors.
yeah, there'll be some coloring, some fake coloring or something will be there.
Okay, cool.
Uh,
And what else?
maybe some I don't
Okay, right.
know.
I'm going to be showing you the next slide. Okay, and this is something which I got it when I was searching the same thing. What does Pepsi contain? Pepsi contains aborted fetus. I'm showing you a Google page, man.
Pepsi.
Now, did you have any thought of this? Like, how is this information gonna be, taken as a brand persona or a brand commitment or the content? Did you ever think of this?
I hope it's not true.
I don't know, as I said. But the moment you search, what happens? Now, let's go back a little bit back of my presentation. This was the last presentation in which we spoke about a lot of things, okay? And one sec, sorry. Right. So, Pepsi contains a lot of stuff. This is something which even I also didn't know. And if you see, I'll go to the next one. And I have got so many things. Okay, somebody says caffeine, somebody says artificial sweeteners, a sick HIV. Okay, and consuming Pepsi can beat somebody, on the right hand side. I don't know if you can see this thing. This is not my stuff, man. This is what I searched on Google, and I got so many information. Right. So, since now you guys pretty much know all this content, any idea how much does it cost for creating one can? Just one can?
20 cents. 20 cents.
Okay, cool. Okay. This is an Indian data. So the manufacturing cost for 300 ml is rupees, not rupees even, it's called paisa, 0.70 paisa. Okay. And forget about the selling price. The profit is 1500%. Any comments so far?
Yeah, they need to sell a lot.
Okay, right. Any comments so far about how do you feel that? Let's talk for this 2 minutes to 5 minutes about this little bit, and let us have a kind of a healthy discussion about this. Even though I might go back to this slide again, and I might talk about these two slides again. Okay.
You mean you want to talk about the fact that it's 1,500% like profit, or the fact that it's it says that Pepsi is from aborted fetus?
So now you might be thinking like, we are supposed to came here to learn about being influencer or business processes, and these gentlemen is talking about a cold drink, break, aborted fetus, content, caffeine, and all shit, right? Okay, let's go a little deep and let's see how does it resonate to you guys. Okay, the next thing is, how do you like this this piece of a content? Refresh your world. Wine cherry. Okay, by the way, guys, you know what is this, right? You know what is the content so far. Everyone has some idea, basic idea of what is it having. Crystal Pepsi. Okay, I've got an entire container of Pepsi, man, nowadays. Pepsi with other stuff. I mean, this is for New York. stay fit with, I mean, stay it with Pepsi. It's not stay fit, but the stay with Pepsi, and it's like a, kind of a summer drink. And now there is one more which is talking in terms of its competitor, right? Right. What is in your mind? Like, what kind of thought can come here? Any wild guess? Any wild thought? I mean, this is more of a discussion and a kind of an open house, so you guys can let me know.
They even have a Pepsi with real sugar. That's how they market it. That's how they market it. Says this one has real sugar.
Okay.
What the other one have?
Okay. Anybody else? Any other idea? Prosper, any idea?
Stop drinking Pepsi, guys.
So I don't know. You guys are breaking off a little bit. Okay, sorry. So let me go back again here. Okay, let me take out all these things, and let me go back to this word. Pepsi contains aborted fetus. Okay, you see this image. This image.
That's powerful.
Yeah, that is something which, if you probably go in front of a store or probably a Pepsi vending machine, and if this is a kind of a placard, will you buy the Pepsi with the same interest or the same intent, however thirsty you might be? Will you buy the still thing, or you will have some thought process? Some thought process.
I would say, well, it's kind of you raise your awareness when you see a body fetus. What does it mean? It's it's disgusting maybe for women. So for me, it's like it's weird. It's just.
Right.
It's out of the context, it's not Pepsi anymore.
Yeah. On the other hand, if you look at this kind of images, how do you feel?
I feel peps.
Well, this is the ultimate drink for you. This is made only for you. This is what the influencer is drinking also, man. I don't know who is this Charles somebody, I don't know, but I don't know, it has its own thing. It is a probably sometimes there are certain cricket matches which is sponsored by Pepsi. It feels like the entire cricket match is sponsored by Pepsi. Pepsi is promoting about fitness, health, good life. See that?
Yeah, some emotion there is positive, just like let's go with Pepsi. But on the other side about a body fetus is for me as a man, I say how possible is impossible is what but. People will have that angle that, wow, it's so disgusting and whatever, just kind of pain and pleasure there.
Right. So guys, let me reconnect here. When I started this entire discussion with the same slide and I asked, okay, what does Pepsi contain? Almost everyone gave me a 90% to 100% accurate result on accurate answers. Okay, because before putting this question, I actually went down and found out what are the contents it has. I think pretty much you all said the right thing. But understand one thing. We all know what it contains and we all know the price of it, right? But there is something which is pushing us to still buy that same product. And it is there from last probably 100 years. Oh, can you throw some light on that?
Yeah, probably. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's definitely been around for a long time.
Yeah.
It started, I think, not 100 years, some 1936, 1920s or something. It started off as a cough syrup, which they used to give for people, like Dr. Peppers and all. It was like that, and then it slowly gained popularity because they started making it sweeter and sweeter. So I don't think 100 years, maybe around 1920s, 1930s, around that time.
Right. But
Coca-Cola.
Okay, but tell me one thing. 100 years, it's the same composition. Almost the same composition. Probably, I don't know if they can add some flavors, that wild cherry and stuff, and I don't know. But I think it is almost the same composition. But every generation, every decade, people do get into this kind of vending machines. They pay the money and they bring out the drink and they have it. Every generation. Same stuff.
It's part of the culture.
It's a part of culture, right? Okay, amazing.
They invested a lot of money to become part of the culture.
Right, okay. Going back again here, the percentage remains the same from last so many years. It's 1500%. It's unimaginable number for a product. The same product, I'm not going to comment anything on the product, but the thing is, there is something by which there is an action has been taken. Are you able to see there is some action here? There is some action here. There is some action here. These are small identities which is bringing something in your brain and it is allowing you to buy that same product. At least you go to the product. At least that's the choice you have. That's in the menu. Even though everyone knows, the seller also knows, the buyer also knows, the consumer also knows. Everyone knows. What is it inside? Are you guys able to connect with me now?
Yeah, it's the brand is quite has invested a lot in itself to become like quite popular world over, and it's been consistent in what it's been doing and also innovating at the same time.
Okay, right. I think let me ask you one more question here is, what you mentioned is right. The brand has invested every decade, like every new celebrity, every new actors, actresses, situations, sports. I think they have taken everything. Do you agree?
Mm.
Okay. And every time the composition and the inner thing, the content is the same thing. What changed is a little bit of communication. What changed is, I think, the way of positioning the brand every damn time. And probably if I need to ask you, do you think in the next year or this year, it's going to be a new composition, probably a new structure of Pepsi probably. Might be the bottle changes, the color changes, the celebrity changes, something is going to happen. A new look, a new face, every time. Stay young. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So my next question is,
What do you contain?
what do you contain?
Blood.
Nice answer.
Emotions.
I was expecting these answers, I was expecting. But let me, who answered this? Is it Om? You answered this?
I said blood. Yeah. Okay. I think someone said emotion.
Emotion.
Yeah, I say emotions. Yeah. Emotional content.
Emotional content, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Anything beyond this? Any more thing? What do you contain of? Skin, bone, muscles, blood, emotions, organs. Okay, cool, right?
Chi, spirit.
Okay. Spirit, yeah.
Yeah, spirit. All these things.
Soul.
Okay, awesome. My next question to you: what is your manufacturing and maintenance cost so far?
Oh God.
How much do you worth right now?
I deserve it.
It's a big number.
Yeah, for sure. I mean that for sure. But I can't even imagine how much invested. Millions. They're worth millions, if not billions.
Okay. Okay. I want to go back to the same thing, man. Now. Okay. How does this particular slide resonate with you? Each one of you. Let's take 5 minutes. Or let's say 3 minutes.
I would say that obviously that the marketing and the distribution and everything has a lot to do with what the output was in the end compared to what the actual thing was made to manufacture or to build up to that level. I mean, even though it's only 0.7 paisa to produce, there's obviously billions of dollars in research and this and that went into it.
Research? What research? It's the same
research
from 100 years now.
They would have done research and development for whatever in that time, just to get to that level where, okay, fine, it's tasting. They must have done 100 formulas before they got to this one. So just saying.
Okay.
So that came to that, and now it's like, because of that, it's like they're reusing the same formula to make it more and more profitable.
Okay.
We'll see, like Coke keep the same consistency about the brand, and Pepsi, they try to reinvent themselves all the time.
Okay. I'm not going into the brand statements right now. The entire purpose to show you was to figure out, a 0.7 paisa, which is hardly some cents. And on the other side, I have a real individual, and you contain so many things. And that value of that thing, I don't know. What is your MRP? What is your maintenance cost? But there is a big difference between 1500%. So what is your MRP right now? I don't know. Manufacturing cost is fine, but what is your selling price now? I understand. So what is the percentage? At least some percentage? Your manufacturing to maintenance cost? Anything that comes in your mind? Comparing yourself with Pepsi, the value and your own self, whether it is blood also, still, it is 1500%. What is your percentage? Or what is our percentage? What is my percentage? I feel so bad. Okay. Anyone to break the silence?
Well, I don't see myself as manufacturing maintenance cost. It's just like, just like, what is your manufacturing maintenance cost? It's just.
Yeah, I mean, you also, it's a figure of, more of a metaphor, figure of speech, where I was trying to figure.
I understand. So
manufacturing cost is zero. You didn't manufacture yourself.
Nice, right? There's something which is quite deeper, very, very deep here. The thing is, an ingredient which is almost, I don't know what is the value. I cannot say a value also. Water, sugar, some added flavors and stuff. This is giving you, they have done something with this ingredient, and the ingredient is accepted for hundreds of years, might be whatever the number of years. Every generation, every decade, it has been, identified. People have taken action with it. People have played sports with it. People have, quenched their thirst out of it, have shown it as a brand statement, have carried it across, have flaunted it, the caps, the t-shirts, everything. It is just water, sugar, and some added colors and flavors and whatever.
So, okay. That's
The next question. I think you can guess what is the next question.
Yeah.
Right. So before I tell you the question, why don't you ask me the same question? Why don't you ask the other people? What is the question?
Manufacturing maintenance cost is cheap.
Yeah.
So what's the next question?
Right. What the next question is quite tough. You see the percentage difference. Yeah. What should
That's value. Yeah, of course. What should be your value?
Now you know what is there inside the Coke and the Pepsi and stuff, and what is there in you. It is the same, and you have, I think you are evolving, updating, upgrading, and syncing every second. Every second. Even though if you are in sleep, then also there is something happening.
What should be your value?
There should be your value.
So So if I understand that, the process is like, what do you contain? What is your manufacturing maintenance costs?
Mhm.
Those are no difference, are cheap, right? Just like, it's like me and everyone the same, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
value will be the criteria, just lead me to say, okay, here it is, me and only, or me exclusive.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's why my value could be very high or very, very cheap. Depends on how I position myself in
Yes.
there.
Nice.
So if the content is, we all have emotions, we all have blood, we all have organs, right?
Sure.
And the manufacturing maintenance cost, well, just we all human beings. If I get that, you know, then the value, this is what make the difference.
Mm.
What make me different from other? What me, different from, I mean, exclusive or special from other people that people want me to give, you know, what kind of value that people get attracted. And why from me, right?
Yes.
And that's one that you can say that myself, well, oh, you know what, I'm nobody, you know, I don't pretend myself to have high value. Or you can just say to yourself, yeah, I have them high value, you know, in that marketplace. I say the things in a unique way that nobody can say.
Mhm.
So that's how I'm thinking.
Okay. Right. Oh, any other thoughts? Ivan, Prakash?
Well, I think the value is the output that you know, the whatever communication you provide
Yeah. Okay.
can be valued.
Okay. So, what is the difference between and you know, probably I'll say something which is 1500% you know returns, and a person like you, a person like me. What is the difference? Do you think? I mean, this is a kind of a product which has actually nothing. In fact, it has no intellect, almost zero intellect. Right. The intellect is only probably the feeling that you have when you sip it cold. Now, there are a lot of people have identified a lot of usages of Pepsi and Coke, you know, cleaning toilets, cleaning dirt, you know, shooting rockets with Mentos. You will find plenty of such kind of things are there. But still, it has its own mark. People love to wear that brand. People love to be acquainted with such kind of brands. And it doesn't happen with us. However talented you might be, it doesn't happen there. So do you think there is a kind of a, you know, something these people have done with Pepsi? If they do the same thing with you, what will happen? Are you there?
Yep.
Yeah. Do you want me to repeat the same question again?
Yeah, please.
I feel they have done something with this liquid or the mixture. They've done something with Pepsi, they've done something with Coke, or whatever the company. And now they stand as 1500% profit. Now, with you as an individual, with so much of information, so much of value, you can say, if they do the same thing that they have done with this kind of brands, where do you stand then? How do you see yourself?
Well, self-image is high. I feel myself in a high.
Okay, good. All right. Do you see yourself as a successful person with whatever the percentage? If it is 100% also, it's huge. Do you feel that?
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, I have a next question coming up then. But before that, I want you to everyone to really figure out this. Today's session, it's very slow. It is not like, you know, I'm just trying to show you stuff. But this is more of an internal realization. that something happened with a non-living product, some sort of a mixture, and now there is a living product, God's amazing creation, us, ourselves, living entity. We are no way close even to a small fraction of that percentage of profit that this thing gets and us. Okay. All right. Any other comments? Any other inputs before I go ahead?
I would say, value is something that it's not just, it becomes valuable when it's something that you spread to others, when it has to be recognized, has to be seen by other people, and that's how values stand for, sometimes, you just do your things. And I remember that in my past, I talked to people and then I have a friend, he says something to me, he say, I say, what? And my friend say, last time we talked to that person, I say, what do you mean? Yeah, you have your unique way, you say something special to her and she feels somehow thankful about what you say. Well, you know what? I didn't say anything special. I think that I speak the way I think it was,
Yeah.
And my friend said, no, really, Prosper, you have a way to say it, and the way she described you, then, wow, it's like you change something in her. I said, well, I didn't change anything, and I just recognized that after that, when you say that, I say, well, I didn't force myself to do anything, and I never see myself as a valuable person, but by my friend recognizing me that I'm valuable for that person, because they're talking on my back about good things, and I just say, okay, there's something there. There's something that I do and something that I said that make things valuable. Yeah. My speech, my message, because I can't say that for myself, I can't even talk just like that, in the flow. But the value, it becomes value once it's become recognized by people who feel connected with what I'm saying, with my message. And this is the point that I realized I touched 2 people's life. I mean, this was years ago, and I say, okay, at that time, I'm not I just, okay, I looks like I changed 2 people's life for some reason.
Yeah. So, do you understand what has happened just now? Just now, whatever you told, how much depth this entire 3 minutes or 2 minutes of your talk had?
So, did I touch you guys?
Exactly. Now the thing is, and coming back to the the context here is, there is a reason behind to show you the entire presentation with Pepsi and then ultimately coming back and asking you what is your value. And the reason behind this entire thing was to show you there has been something done with this, I'll say this mixture, this liquid mixture. And this has touched everyone. This has touched kids, this has touched youth, this has touched the older generations, this has touched the, the corporates, the millennials, everyone. Okay. And what is the value? I don't think there is a kind of a logical value, you can say. But now, the only thing is, we human beings have done something with this. Something has happened with this. And this has become so-called a brand, a company, something else. And it is, if you ask me what is the value of this, my God, I mean, probably there are a lot of people here in this group who can tell me more than me. How much is just the brand Pepsi? I don't know, it might be in, I don't know, billions, I guess. Just the brand. Forget about the logo, forget about the other thing, just the name. It will be huge.
Oh.
So there is an element of human touch has been there from a zero to a hero transition with this brand. Every every other cold drink never became Pepsi and Coke. Do you see that? Yeah? Do you see that? Every cold drink never became a Coke or a Pepsi or any other company. Right? So let me put it this way. If those human inputs are done on an individual, I need your answers to say, do you think you can you can be somebody beyond if you learn that particular thing? If you get to get hold of those kind of guys who has done the same thing with this brand? You guys are there with me?
Yeah.
So let's understand Pepsi first. So it's a half an Indian language and a half English language. It says "Ye hi hai right choice." So let me invite Om. Om, are you there? Hello.
I think he left.
Okay, might be okay. So the meaning of this particular word is this is the right choice. Okay. This is an advertisement which was shown long back, and I didn't have the high resolution of this, where there is a kid looking at this bottle, and he's like, "Wow, this is the right choice." Now, individually, everyone knows what is inside it, and you can exactly see from the eyes and the expression. Even though this might be a framed one, but that's the expression. Even I remember when I was a kid and we used to get one Pepsi at house, in our home. We had a different way of looking at this. It was a first cold refrigerated drink. And there was an intention to go towards this, look at it, see the ads, see the commercials, sing the same song, feel that, wear the same cap, wear that same t-shirt, whatever. Might be a small gift, or some tattoo or something, or the kids' toys. Earlier we used to get these toys with this, right? So let's understand Pepsi a little bit more. Okay, so before I go into this, this entire context was to figure out if we learn certain humanoid tactics with even a non-living substance of no value at all. No, when I say no value, I mean to say no calorific value, no good logical value. It became a huge success in terms of influencing people. What do you feel about this statement? Let's go one by one. Okay, anyone can jump in and tell me, how do you feel that statement?
What kind of statement? No logical value?
Yep.
Well, that's the point here, If it's just about sugar and water, well, what is beyond that? What is the value they bring to me, right?
Yeah.
So it has to be beyond rational. It's just kind of irrational, and it's come from human perceptions about how they think about the brand.
Yes.
So I would think that is a kind of brand that creates an identity that people feel they feel they belong to, So.
Okay.
So
one word I got it as identity. So one word for me is identity, was what you nicely said. Anybody else wants to add up anything here? Okay. So we follow the 10-second rule. So let's go ahead and understand, how do you create an identity? How do you start this entire thing? The entire idea of today's session was more into learning how we can make or understand the business processes, and what is the most simplest business processes that we can think of when we are looking at making ourselves as influencers. And we'll today probably go a little bit deeper into understanding the power of when you say being influencer. Okay, with that, shall I go ahead? Are you guys with me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Right. Okay. Now this is a very, I say, a simplified diagram that I have designed. There are basically 4 business processes to success, or not success, but basically there are 4 business processes. So the first process is called as getting a new customer. Second one is called as, repeat or loyalty stage, where you have the same customer coming back to you again and again, right? They're coming for multiple number of times. And the next level is when you are in a phase of scaling up your business. There's only 2 ways you can do it. Is one by selling in volume, or the second thing is upgrading the customer. So it's like you have got Honda, you are selling Honda, and you're upgrading the customer to a Mercedes-Benz, or probably selling 40 Hondas or 50 Hondas. Okay. And the last part is when you have now got a customer and he's so happy that he's coming again and again back to you, and you are able to sell him in bulk or upgrade him. Now he's so happy with you that he wants to flaunt your services. Right? He wants to share his happiness, his joy, might be his attitude, his styling and status, all factorials. He is able to communicate to other people in the community, and this is called as referral, or referral based kind of business. So far, any kind of a thought process that you can give me any inputs with these 4 stages? Any kind of change of thought, any kind of inputs changed?
Can the records come to you again? To create or buy? Can the records be your sales engine? Refer our knowledge to I just to say from cold leads to raving fans.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one small part of it. So I think all the leads and everything will come into the first page is getting the customer, whether it is cold or hot or warm, whatever.
Okay.
It'll all come into the first phase, right? Getting the customer. Okay. So pretty much, if you guys are all okay with this, then shall I go ahead?
Yep.
Okay. Very easy. It looks very easy, but understand one thing is the entire business process is 95% people are actually struggling with the first part called as getting the customer. Right? And remaining is all the remaining 5%. The effort is actually 5%. So today, if you need to come back into a different way of looking at it, because the entire purpose for us to sit down here is understanding how we can make ourselves as an influencer, how we can make ourselves to be seen, to be heard, thereby doing business, thereby increasing the volume, the revenue, and ultimately leading us to a journey closer to the success.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a Pepsi abbreviation. So let's put it this way. Before you start anything, so I think at this point of time, let me just check out the Excel here. Okay. And I have a couple of things which has already been drafted here. Okay. Okay. The first one, as I said, getting the new customer is the plan to procure stage, right? So once you procure, you need to execute certain stuff. You need to either sell the product. For that, you need to have the product, or you need to execute the service, right? And you have to do that on a continuous basis, which is called as persistence. Okay. And ultimately, you need to scale up. And the last one, when I say it is a referral, we call it as introduction. So someone is introducing you to the business. So any doubts so far? Can we go ahead? This is a very, very overview of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All are okay with this so far?
Yes.
Awesome.
No.
Okay. At any point you want to ask me anything, probably we can break it down and we can go in depth also, which ways we will be doing in the next 5 minutes. Right. So if you see, the stages are divided into a couple of I'll say words. Any business starts up on a kind of a thought process. So right now I'm talking about the business of becoming an influencer, right? So if you don't take it as a business, okay, let me understand what is the difference between business and entrepreneur? Businessman and entrepreneur, yeah.
I think I saw a picture on Facebook where businessmen, they buy bananas for, I don't know, €1, $1, and then they sell the banana back to $1.5. And entrepreneurs, they buy in bananas for $1 and then they make banana juice out of it and they sell it for $5.
Okay, so can I call them as resellers?
Yeah.
Okay, any other word? Any other thing? What you can think for when you hear the word called as businessman?
Businessman.
Do you think they are doing the same stuff?
The entrepreneur has to.
Yeah, sorry, Prophet, come again.
Yeah, I mean the difference is I think that as entrepreneur you need to think outside the box.
Okay.
So
I feel like entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Prakash,
yeah.
right?
What I feel, yeah. What I feel like entrepreneurs, they come with a plan, like they want to do something or they want to create something. But whereas a businessman, what they do is they implement and they make it work.
Implement and make it work. Okay.
I mean, like, they leverage everything, and they hire people. So they work on the business or they work on a project. Whereas an entrepreneur, they are more into like creating stuff, like creating a new product, creating a new suppose a program or something of the sort. But a businessman who runs it.
Okay. So before I lay down my views on this, any other inputs? Right.
I don't see any difference. Businessman and entrepreneur, it's pretty much both the same.
I'm sorry.
I mean, they have the same thing. I mean, to be a businessman, you need to be an entrepreneur, and to be an entrepreneur, you need to be a businessman.
You say same thing, right?
I don't see.
Okay, so cool. I mean, it's a perspective. This is a kind of an open house discussion. So, according to a lot of definitions which I've gone through, so businessmen are those people who are doing a kind of a job, or I'll say a process. So let's say I'm a plumber. After 10 years, I have a big team of plumbers, and I have got probably people spread across entire district, entire state, entire country. Might be multinational company where I have got plumbers all across the world. I might be a carpenter. I have my factory. I design my own furnitures, and now I have got showrooms all across probably a 10 kilometers radius to probably the entire interstate or intercountry. You see, this is one part. This is one side. On the other hand, let's take an example of Apple. Yeah. So let me write down here. Okay. So Apple started off with what? Apple started off basically as a scripting company or coding company, right? And then they evolved into something called as personal computers, right? And so this is a kind of a new thing. Then they had so many other products like iPod, iPad, iPhone, and so many things, right? right? Are you there with me, guys? What has happened here is, this was one business, this is the second business, and iPod. Okay, so guys, they tell me, when Apple was into iPod, what was the industry they were tapping?
Music.
Any idea? Don't you think they were tapping the music industry at that point of time? Right?
I would say that, you know, when they launched the iPod, it's something that people really want, you know, from
Yeah. So
somehow.
what was the industry? What I'm trying to figure out is, what was the industry? For me, it was the music industry, because they were tapping the entire music industry. It was a new way of reaching music to individual. Okay,
Yeah.
let's have a kind of a round of discussion here. When it was iPhone, okay, let's put it this way, because iPad is almost the same thing. So when it was iPhone, what was the industry, do you think?
Communication, music.
Or telecom or mobile?
Telecom.
Like a mobile? iStore application? I don't know what should I call about that. Okay. So, are you guys with me? I mean, are you able to see the difference between a businessman and an entrepreneur now? He's continuously evolving. So probably first year he was doing some coding, second year he has some another stuff. He has absolutely, you know, what to say, deviated from the stuff, and he has created another level of something. He's no longer the same guy. The evolution is more into diverse. What is your take? Are you able to see the difference? So the businessman, after 10 years, he's a bigger businessman. He's doing the same reselling. He's buying the product and probably selling it in masses. Still bigger.
Yeah, I see that.
Right.
So, as entrepreneur is always adjusting, is always in tune with the marketplace.
Yeah.
He's always asking, what is the value that you want me to give to you?
Yes. Yes.
And then it doesn't mean that I have to refer from what I have. So I have to let down a little bit my ego and just say, okay, I'm listening to the marketplace. What guys do you want? So here it is, you know, I can give you this. Okay, now I get it. Let me figure out what kind of product that we can evolve and go for the next generation product that you never see in your life. And now the iPod is here.
Yeah.
As a businessman, it's just like, okay, I know this stuff. I need to multiply what I know by 10, 20 times, 30 times, but I keep doing the same thing all my life. So if I'm in martial arts, it's martial arts 10 times, 20 times, 30 times. So it's all about making more money, but I'm going dead if people don't need martial arts anymore. They want to have something else in their life. So I don't evolve in terms of what I'm doing, my core things, but I expanding. So that's how my take is between businessman and entrepreneur.
So I feel martial art is more into perfecting your moves, your style. You know, just correct me if I'm going on the wrong direction.
Yeah, there's a lot of things in martial arts. You know, for me, this is how it is. Martial arts. You know, nobody needs martial arts. This is the two things, and this is one from Judy Lin and Dan when they were in an interview, and Judy Lin was the guy he's in Aquaman, you know, and he said something very interesting. He said that if you know nothing about martial arts, you're fine. If you know a lot about martial arts, you're fine. But if you know a little bit of martial arts, you're dangerous. because you don't really know how to apply martial arts. Let me put it this way about martial arts. This is how I feel stuck. And people in martial arts, some of them evolve, some of them don't. So what's happened about this industry and myself is people say like martial arts for self-defense. Okay, fairly, yes, people need for self-defense. But for me, everyday life is not just about kicking and punching, you know? But the martial arts is when you are working, when you are doing something, when you are solving problem that you can't solve problem, when you have business problem, when you feel pain because you can't figure it out. Then for me, my evolutions as entrepreneur is to bring martial arts in the way you communicate effectively, bring martial arts in the way that you stand yourself in your highest self, in a way that you're able to leverage once the problem of business come to you, in a way that is easy to solve the problem because it's stress-free, you resist tensions. So for me, this is my evolution. And I feel that nobody, I mean, I know people, I know my teacher, but I'm not saying I'm the first one, is a bit cocky about that, but I say my evolutions is able to bring martial arts in a way that people, they understood and apply those principles in their daily life, and not something that they look at, oh, martial arts is for self-defense, you know, and that's my evolutions there, right there. That's my value there.
So my dear
After
friend,
25 years martial arts, man.
yeah, what you're telling me is a different level altogether, which is not the business of the entrepreneurship. So I think what you're telling me right now is more into what we are actually doing right now. It's called as influencer.
Wow.
So you see, you are one step different. You don't fall into the probably, you know, the category of business and entrepreneurs. You're a little different.
Yes.
You're different. You're not a businessman. You're not an entrepreneur. You have your own way.
Yes.
So let's go back here. Okay. By the way, anybody else wants to comment anything so far?
So if I understood right, so businessmen are the ones who follow the trend right and knows where the money is, and entrepreneurs are the ones who can disrupt the market and change the whole system. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, disrupt is a good word. Disrupt is a good word. Yeah.
Yeah, then I think I made a whole summary of what you were saying, right?
Right. But see, what also I'm trying to put it is, a businessman is a person who probably is doing a lot of stuff. I mean, there might be a lot of common thing in this, because this is the base by which he has grown, right? So if you come to the left side of this page, and let me color this as yellow, okay? So a businessman follows basically these 4 steps to grow. These are the typical 4 steps any businessman from day 1 till his most successful time would be doing it, right? So these are the 4 phases of, I'll say, a businessman, but the same phases are also there for anyone who is exchanging values. The value might be currency, the value might be in exchange of reputation or anything, right? I'm talking about exchange of values. So definitely at each and every point, so Prosper, listen this carefully. The mindset differs at each stage. The person who is at a startup phase, he will be in a different mindset. The guy who is somehow earning, somehow he's able to sustain, he will react in a different way. You see that? On the other hand, a person who is earning so much that he is okay, he does not have to think for the next couple of months. He is earning that much. He has a continuous amount of business coming in, right? That guy is called stable. His way of looking into the entire world, the business, the prospects, the life will be different. He can afford stuff. And lastly, when he is scaling up, now as I said, scaling up can happen only by 2 ways. Either you sell in volume, that means masses, or you upgrade yourself. That means you sell something of a high intensity or high ticket. Okay.
Mhm.
This is a stage where everyone needs to go through. Everyone, whether it is an individual guy, whether it is a group. So let me go back and tell you the graph that we had when we talked about Robert Kiyosaki. He mentioned about 4 different people, right? He said the lowermost people are single guys. They work individually, like advocate, lawyer, doctors, actors, so on and so forth. If you don't go to work, you don't have business, right? On the other side, the second level and third level and the final level was called as investors. But in everything, there is a start phase and there is a scaling up phase. So success is not the scaling up phase. Do you agree in that part? Many people might be a big investor or big businessman. They have scaled up. They're one of the biggest companies in the world. But success is not something, it is an end statement. It is a journey, right? So now comes this beyond thing is, after scaling up what? So we have another breed of people, we call them as entrepreneurs. And the entrepreneurs comes into the second level. So far, are you okay with me?
Mhm.
Okay. There might be many other points which you can add up, I'm sure about this. But this is the basic business processes I'm talking about. So entrepreneur is somebody who diversifies the entire thing. Definitely disruption, diversification, all these things happens. But the first thing is, he creates a different sense of market potential. He understands, he senses the market, right? And he works on a model called as hub and spoke model, right? So he has a main brand, like for example, Apple. So Apple becomes the hub and the spokes are iPod or iPhone, iStore, iMap. There's so many other protocols are there. So under the same banner, he creates multiple, diversified processes, and each of them are potential business, which can be individually run by business intellect or businessman or trained management employees. So far, let me just give you a kind of a 1 minute pause. So far, are you guys okay with this? Any kind of inputs so far? No? Well, so let's go ahead and let me tell you, there is another kind of a breed of people who are looking at doing something different. And these are the people who actually look for 2 things. One is creating a value and creating that value in such a way that it becomes irreplaceable. And this is done mostly individually or in a group. And these are the guys who are called as influencers. So these guys are different when I say they are deep thinkers. They get the recognition by their own execution, the executions, whatever they do. They create opportunities for people. They set the trend, the style. So if, let's say the Facebook person, Mark Zuckerberg, he has a kind of a style of wearing a t-shirt and a denim. Steve Jobs has a different style of, on the other side. Mr. Tata would have a different way of looking at it. So these are the people who work in a masses in such a way that they connect to every dot of people who are either using their products or services, or at least they are using his thought processes. And these are the people who stand in front and show the entire team how to lead. And how do you lead? By proofing themselves. So they become the dictionary of their individual industries that they have set up, right? And these guys are called as influencers. So with that, I would like to rest my case so far and like to ask you about your inputs. How did you feel the business process journey so far?
Which area?
So let us talk for a couple of minutes, and then we go. We wind up to the session, and we'll go to the next session of deeper structure of how to do startup, what are the sustainable models, how can you stabilize the things, what are the each phases in details, and then we see how exactly an influencer functions in a different way. Okay, so far any inputs?
I'm fine.
Okay, awesome.
I mean, we understood the difference between the business and an entrepreneur.
Okay,
Makes sense.
right. So an influencer is a kind of a mixed breed which is beyond a businessman and beyond an entrepreneur now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and that is what we are trying to learn. So if everyone is okay with that, so with that I would like to end today's session, and our next session would be a more detailed structure of how we go inside, and I'll be sharing a couple of resources which you can go through yourself, and you can learn about the various structures of how a difference of influencing business can be created, right? So for that, we'll get back to another session, which will be session 8, and on next Friday, 8 p.m. Right, guys?
Okay.
So with that, so Beatles, good night, and see you on Friday.
All right, take care.
Good. Take care.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.